Right now, a local basketball team competing in Florida takes a long journey just to get there after their flight was canceled. They managed to make their way down south. Also, the search for children's flu medicine continues. For many parents, why health experts say you shouldn't panic. And later, Governor Evers appointing a new secretary of the DNR. We'll tell you who he'll be replacing. You're watching News 3 Now at 6. Holiday travelers stuck at the airport. It is a continuing trend that's leaving many frustrated and exhausted. Yesterday, 70% of Southwest Airlines flights were canceled, including a flight that was supposed to take Vel Phillips Memorial High School boys basketball team to Florida. This was for a holiday tournament. It ended up being a whirlwind two-day commute to the Sunshine State for the Spartans. And our Andrew Banstra spoke with the team today about what they had to do to improvise here. Andrew.
Thanks, Eric. The team was stranded at the Midway Airport with 30 hours to go before their tournament's tip-off. They didn't let Southwest stop their plans, though, as they found a bus and hit the road. Each year, the Vel Phillips Memorial High School boys basketball team flies to Florida for a tournament against the nation's top talent. This year, the 24-person group bussed from Madison to Midway Airport at 5 a.m. on Monday to make a 10:30 flight. TSA was a breeze. Things were almost going too well. Then, 20 minutes before takeoff, Southwest started changing those plans.
They changed gates on us. Walked down to the new gates, and as we got down there, the flight got canceled. Not delayed, canceled.
With 30 hours until the tournament's tip-off, they scurried to the nearest agent, only to find out they were rebooked for a January 4th flight. That wasn't going to work.
So then we started thinking bus at that point, bus to get home, or bus to maybe go to Florida. Florida wasn't really on the docket initially.
They spent 10 hours in the airport looking for buses. With 20 hours to tip off, they finally found one that would take them to Florida. But without stops, it's a 16-hour drive.
So I think we're going to end up rolling in, playing, shooting around for a couple minutes, throwing our jerseys out and playing.
As Southwest cancels more and more flights, the team has already canceled their flight home. This time, the bus is staying with them.
It's just like we wanted to get down here for the boys because they wanted to really play. So that's why we tried to make it work. We could have found 3 more games.
Memorial's 6'7" power forward Sam Mickelson says squeezing on a bus isn't ideal for 32 hours, but
if I was to do it over again, I don't think I would actually change anything because I think I've gotten closer to a bunch of teammates that I haven't really gotten close with. And I'm really excited to get out of the bus and start playing again.
In Madison, Andrew Banstra, News 3 Now. They made it just in time for their 4 p.m. Central tip-off, and while they lost their first game, a much-needed good night's rest will have them ready for the rest of the tournament.
And a story to tell for a long time, Andrew. Thank you. Let's check your certified most accurate forecast. Here's Julian Seawright. Julian?
Well, it's hard to believe that we've seen improvements today in terms of surface temperatures, but we actually have, and it's just going to get better from here on out, from tonight's going into tomorrow. But thanks to those winds, it's just not going to feel like it. Right now, it's 20 degrees on the surface, but we're dealing with breezy conditions out from the south, which will raise our surface temperatures, but will keep the feelings well into the single digits. Now, we're looking at gusts at 24 miles per hour here in Madison and for Janesville, and we're going to continue to see those gusts throughout the overnight. And see, this is what we're talking about, what it feels like as of right now. It feels like it's 6 degrees here in Madison, 7 for Janesville, and 5 for Platteville as we head into the rest of this evening. Temperatures on the surface, though, upper teens for Platteville and Lone Rock, in the lower 20s for Madison, Janesville, Basketball, and for our friends in Prairie du Chien. Tonight, we're going to be seeing our temperatures already hit our low, around 21 degrees, but we will warm up overnight, just a few degrees into our middle 20s. As we head out the door for tomorrow, well, things will be a little bit more open in terms of sky cover, but on top of it, temperatures themselves will be not nearly as cold as they have been over the last few. Now, we'll talk about the improvements of those temperatures and a little bit of some milder weather on the way in just a few moments. Until then, back to you.
Julian, thank you. Check this out. A shop on the shores of Lake Michigan in Gills Rock along Green Bay, frozen solid after that massive storm that swallowed much of the country. Called Simply Scandinavian, the shop got covered in ice after high winds created huge waves that covered it in water. The owner, Gretel Sanica, says there is a foot thick of ice on that building. She is worried about the weight of all that ice, but says the shop has tough Nordic genes.
I'm sure this little shop has endured many storms, but this definitely is one of the largest ice buildup that any local can remember in the history of this building.
She's hoping warmer temps heading our way will melt off some of that ice. Madison police are investigating after they say a man was found dead on Christmas Eve. Officers sent to a restaurant in the 1300 block of East Washington Avenue about 10:30 p.m. after the man was found unresponsive. Life-saving measures were attempted, but he could not be revived. Police said nothing suspicious was found at the scene, and the man showed no signs of drug use. Emergency crews responding to a two-vehicle crash on Raymond Road today on Madison's west side. Dispatchers say the crash happened about noon near the intersection of Raymond at Gilbert. Thankfully, no one was seriously hurt and didn't need hospitalization. Governor Tony Evers today naming a new head of the Department of Natural Resources, but that person still faces confirmation in the state Senate, which is not always a guarantee. Political reporter Will Keneally has more. Will?
Well, Eric, it's Adam Payne. That's who the person Governor Evers has named to the top DNR position is. He replaces outgoing Secretary Preston Cole. Right now, he serves as the county administrator for Sheboygan County and will start his new role a week from today. This comes as the governor has a handful of cabinet secretaries that he will need to replace in his second term.
Especially the Department of Natural Resources and Department of Veterans Affairs, as well as Department of Health. We think we can fill those positions with good people, and good people will be approved by the legislature.
But it hasn't always been easy for the governor. Right now, 6 out of Evers' 13 cabinet secretaries have not been confirmed by the state Senate. That does not affect their day-to-day work all that much, but it does allow the state Senate to fire them at will, like they did for the governor's first agriculture secretary, Brad Pfaff. Now, Senate Republicans have not said yet who will receive a confirmation vote or who might be rejected by the legislature. And that new legislative session starts next week.
Will, thank you. And in the lead up to that new session, this November's election saw a few surprises. Democrats fended off what was expected to be a very good year for Republicans. And part of that election was the Trump effect and how the candidates he endorsed fared in November. As part of our series of sit-downs with the key players in Wisconsin politics, we asked Assembly Speaker Robin Vos how much influence Trump still has in Wisconsin politics.
Way down from where it was. I would say it was at the peak in our primary back in August and September, where of course you had the president endorsing people in our primaries. He endorsed my primary opponent. Of course, I was successful. That was good. That took a little bit of air out of his sails.
Speaker Vos said he thinks the reason why Trump's influence has declined is his rhetoric and that Wisconsinites appreciate action instead of what Vos calls bluster. Moving to health news now, where most of the nation is seeing a decrease in flu and RSV infections. Health experts worry we could see a spike after the holidays. Now, another problem is a shortage of over-the-counter cold medicine for children. To combat part of the problem, the government released reserves of Tamiflu to prevent stockpiling. CVS, Target, and Walgreens are now restricting purchases of over-the-counter children's medicine. Here in Wisconsin, Megan Schoner searched everywhere for medicine for her daughter.
I had myself looking in, my husband was checking in, we had our pastor looking in, both my parents, my siblings, and nobody could find anything.
Health experts say parents shouldn't worry about most cases because the medicines are used to make children feel more comfortable. They say a fever is a sign the immune system is working, and in many cases, a lukewarm bath will help. Emergency rooms in children's hospitals are seeing more visits and revisits related to mental health. According to a study, starting in 2015, mental health visits to pediatric emergency departments increased 8% every year for 5 years. About 13% of those patients revisited the hospital within 6 months. They say the number of mental health visits that led to a revisit remained stable among patients of all ages, but pediatric mental health revisits increased 6.3% a year. The study used data from more than 200,000 patients from 38 children's hospitals in the United States. The Mega Millions estimated jackpot once again more than $500 million. Lottery officials estimate today's prize at $565 million, or more than $293 million if delivered in cash. There have been 11 winning jackpots of $500 million or more since Mega Millions started back in 2002. The record Mega Millions jackpot is more than $1.5 billion, won in 2018. And a jackpot surpassing $1.3 billion was won in Illinois this past summer. When we come back, egg prices may finally be cooling off a bit. Some of the factors behind why they got so high in the first place. Plus, a local zoo offering to take your old Christmas tree off your hands. What they're using them for, next at 6.
Sometimes a cough isn't just a cough, so it's better to be prepared. Binax Now gives you reliable results in 15 minutes and detects multiple variants, including Omicron BA.5. Binax Now, the #1 COVID-19 self-test in the U.S.
It's the Planet Fitness You Can Still Join a Gym in 2022 sale. Now through December 30th. Join for just $1 down, $10 a month, and you can still do that thing you said you do 11 and a half months ago. All with no commitment, cancel anytime. Get tons of equipment in our clean and spacious clubs. It's not too late. This can still be your year. Simply join through the free PF app for $1 down, $10 a month, cancel anytime, and pay nothing until January 17th. Hurry, deal ends Friday, December 30th.
Why get the updated COVID-19 vaccine? Because life's a little better when we're all boosted. It's the best way to protect yourself from COVID-19's most serious effects, especially if you're over 50 or have a weaker immune system. Give your health a boost. Find the updated COVID-19 vaccine near you at dhs.wisconsin.gov/vaccine.
Are you waking up in the morning with a sore jaw, headaches, maybe even ringing in your ears, all because you're grinding and clenching your teeth at night? That's exactly what was going on with me. That's when I found this, the Brux Night Guard. Now, the Brux Night Guard redirects the bite force away from the back teeth, reducing jaw pain while still protecting the teeth. This unique design is what makes Brux Night Guard different from all other traditional grind guards. Go to bruxnightguard.com and order yours today.
Sometimes a cough isn't just a cough, so it's better to be prepared. Binax Now gives you reliable results in 15 minutes and detects multiple variants, including Omicron BA.5. Binax Now, the #1 COVID-19 self-test in the U.S.
You're watching News 3 Now at 6.
Welcome back. If you are looking to get rid of that Christmas tree, the Oxnard Park Zoo in Baraboo is taking them, and there they give each tree to the animals who use them for different things. The goats and pigs, well, they typically just eat the trees. The beavers and bears rip them apart to use as bedding.
It's great enrichment because it's always good for the animals to express natural behaviors, and giving them natural items like trees and plants like that allow them to exhibit those natural behaviors.
And if you'd like to donate, just leave your tree in the parking lot by the brown maintenance shed there at the zoo. There are some guidelines for the trees. No tinsel, no fake snow or spray paint, no flame retardant sprays either. Also make sure there are no ornaments, hooks, or other decorations on your tree. The zoo also plans to post pictures and videos on Facebook of the animals enjoying those trees. And if goats aren't your thing, tree collection in Madison set to begin January 3rd. It'll run through the 13th. Another collection will then run between the 17th and 27th of January. Both collections are weather permitting. All tree stands, decorations, any tree bags should all be removed. Any wreaths, garlands, or boughs should all just be put in the trash. Residents can also bring trees to a streets division drop-off site. While several grocery store items have become more expensive this year, nothing comes close to the rise in the price of eggs. The Bureau of Labor Statistics says the price of eggs jumped nearly 50% this year through November, not adjusted for seasonal swings. One reason, avian flu reduced poultry flocks. Add to that the rising cost of energy and feed prices for producers, as well as high demand. Experts think the peak has passed, but until these conditions improve, expect to pay a little bit more for your eggs. Still ahead, after indulging in all those holiday sweets, how can you get rid of that extra weight, and what better way to beat the bloat than going to the gym? But which one should you pick? We'll be looking at the expanding market of local gyms in the area. Plus, temperatures are heading back above freezing. Your complete forecast after a short break.
Don't miss the Smith Brothers Factory Authorized New Year's Sale on now at Waunakee Furniture ETC. Select from many styles on our showroom floor or custom order the Amish crafted furniture that's right for you.
Happy New Year!
Hey, I just got a text from my sister. You remember Rick, her neighbor?
Sure. He's the 76-year-old guy who still runs marathons, right?
Sadly, not anymore.
What? You mean...
Mm-hmm. Just like that.
Wow. So sudden. We're not about to have the we need life insurance conversation again, are we?
No, we're having the we're getting coverage so we don't have to worry about it conversation.
So you're calling about the $9.95 a month plan from Colonial Penn?
I am. We put it off long enough. We are getting that $9.95 plan today.
Is it time for you to call about the $9.95 plan? I'm Jonathan from Colonial Penn Life Insurance Company. Sometimes we just need a reminder not to take today for granted. It could be the death of someone you know, or a health scare. That's why today could be a great day to call for free information about Colonial Penn's 995 plan. If you're age 50 to 85, you can get guaranteed acceptance whole life insurance starting at just $9.95 a month. There are no health questions, so you can't be turned down for any health reason. This is permanent coverage. Just pay your premiums for lifelong security. The 995 plan is Colonial Penn's #1 most popular whole life plan. Options start at just $9.95 a month. That's less than 35 cents a day. Your rate can never go up. It's locked in for life. Don't put it off. Take the first easy step. Call today for free information. And you'll also get this free beneficiary planner. So call now.
Call 1-800-290-3399 for your free information and free gift. That's 1-800-290-3399. There's no risk or obligation. That number again is 1-800-290-3399. 1-800-290-3399. Call now.
Hello, Colonial Penn?
Don't miss the Smith Brothers Factory Authorized New Year's Sale on now at Wanakee Furniture ETC. Select from many styles on our showroom floor or custom order the Amish crafted furniture that's right for you.
Happy New Year!
You are watching News 3 Now at 6.
When people start talking New Year's resolutions, going to the gym is always top of mind for a lot of us. If you do make that commitment, you won't be alone. Tahlil Mohideen shows why local fitness leaders say things couldn't be going better for them right now. Tahlil?
Eric, despite the many options to work out at home, leaders at Madison's Princeton Club say there's just something about being at the gym that keeps drawing people in.
It's a bigger post-COVID comeback than even the folks who run the club anticipated.
We saw the amount of people exercising go up so dramatically.
Princeton Club President Andy Haugen says this year they're seeing more people lifting weights, running laps, and using trainers than they have in any given year in their 35 years of service.
I always believed in the importance of exercise and knowing that would come back full force.
He says they've also seen a change in the type of people who come to the gym, from 18-year-old athletes to 90-year-olds working on their mobility.
It's not just about coming in using a treadmill, but it's building an environment and an atmosphere that people are motivated and encouraged. So we've really invested a lot into the group training programs and just giving people different ways to exercise.
Haugen says, in a way, they have the pandemic to thank for the new business.
That puts so much focus on people's health, and so it brought it back to, like, what can I do? What steps can I take to actually improve my overall well-being?
As for the newer spaces opening up in town and what the Princeton Club thinks of the competition,
I think it's incredible for the industry as a whole because it just shows the amount of growth that's happening, that people understand how important exercise is for your day-to-day life.
They're not surprised newer gyms are looking to Madison to set up shop.
Madison's a great city. It's been known as one of the healthiest cities in the country, and so I think health and fitness is at the forefront of so many people's minds, as it should be.
Princeton Club leaders say gym usage is projected to continue growing even more next year.
Tahlil, thank you. You may not normally indulge yourself, but with the holiday candy and cookies, it's hard to resist this time of the year. And for those looking to get back in shape, you can start by cutting out fatty, sugary foods today. Wellness coach Joey Thurman says to focus on lean protein, fruits and vegetables, as well as healthy fats, and focus on hydration.
Water is going to hydrate our cells. In particular, I think people forget about having water that has electrolytes in it, sodium, potassium, magnesium, and those are very important.
He also says movement is important to help with that extra weight, whether it's walking, stretching, or traditional yoga poses. Warmer temps are on the way, but we could also see some rain. Julian's back. He has his complete forecast. Julian?
That's right, but outside of the potential for rain, the warm-up is really what's going to be a highlight for our weather headlines over the next couple of days. Now, from 6 to 10 day, our forecast from the CPC, we're looking to have well above seasonable weather for us in terms of temperatures throughout the upper Midwest and eastern side of the United States. Now, we've all been dealing with some bitterly cold temperatures over the last week or two, and now we're finally going to see a little bit of a rebound that's not going to be typical for this time of year, but at least it'll feel nice for us to have a little break from the bitterly cold temperatures. Now, here's our 3 things we'll need to know. For the next few days, it'll be rather breezy, and those southerly winds are going to carry our temperatures on the surface into the upper 30s and into the 40s throughout the rest of the week and even heading into the new year. But with it, we are looking at some moisture to roll roll in a small little weak system that could bring in some shower chances just ahead of the new year. But as of right now, it's still rather dry for us here in southern Wisconsin. But you can see just near Lake Superior and northern parts of Lake Michigan are dealing with a bit of a stalled out front that's bringing in snow for those areas. But us, tonight, we just got to deal with some cloudy conditions and temperatures into the upper 20s. Now, note, Madison's low temperature says it's going to be 21. That's because we've already hit our low for tonight. Now, for the rest of tonight, we're going to be seeing those temperatures climb slowly but surely into the middle to upper 20s by the time we head out the door for our Wednesday. So tomorrow's temperatures are going to be in the upper 30s throughout all of southern Wisconsin. And the good news is for us here in Madison, we're going to see a bit of sunshine as well. But with those temperatures rising, you know, we did just have Lake Mendota have its freeze over. Just note that being out on the ice is not going to be recommended over the next few days, as temperatures will be well above freezing, not only just during the daytime, but even for our overnights as well, which will thin that layer of ice. Now let's go ahead and walk through the rest of tonight. We're going to see cloud cover back and forth, but really build into the overnight hours and then clear out once we get into our Wednesday morning. The winds are not going to be really tapering off much. May not see many gusts, but it's still going to be rather breezy overnight into our Wednesday morning. Wednesday around lunchtime. We're going to still see plenty of sunshine, temperatures into the middle and upper 30s. So it's going to feel not too bad, at least on the surface, because it's still going to have a bit of some chill effect for us because of those winds. Now going into our Wednesday evening and Wednesday nights, we're looking at cloud cover to start to build in, and that's what we're watching for that weak system to start to roll its way into the southern Wisconsin area and into the upper Midwest, which could bring in a couple of shower opportunities once we get into our Thursday evening and Thursday nights. But it's not looking to be much of a washout, and if anything, just a couple of shower opportunities that will be very isolated. The winds themselves, however, are going to maintain in terms of gusts into the 20 to 30 miles per hour range from tonight into tomorrow and even into our Thursday. Now, it's not going to be overly strong winds, but definitely still going to be rather breezy. Here's a look at our high temperature trend. We are going to skyrocket once we get into Thursday. One of the warmer days over the next 10, but you can see balancing between the lower 40s and the upper 30s over the next few days. Now, we are watching for opportunities to see some showers going into the new year. Well, as we ring it in, it's going to mainly be our Saturday nights, but other than that, it's still rather dry. Going into next week, we could see some opportunities to bring in some showers or even some overnight snowflakes, but overall, things are going to be smooth sailing, and enjoy this warmer weather while we have it, because the winter is right around the corner.
And coming up in sports, J.J. Watt walking away from the game after this season. Why his numbers say the former Badger had a Hall of Fame career. That's next on News 3 Now.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
Sometimes a cough isn't just a cough, so it's better to be prepared. Binax Now gives you reliable results in 15 minutes and detects multiple variants, including Omicron BA.5. Binax Now, the #1 COVID-19 self-test in the U.S.
You might be rooting for different teams, but there's one thing you all cheer for. Brew Pub. Lots of matzo pizza, loaded with over ½ pound of real Wisconsin cheese and piled high with your favorite premium toppings. It's so good, you won't even notice that interception. Stock up before the big game. Brew Pub Lots of Matzo Pizzas are only $5.49 each, now at Menards. Available for a limited time only. Hurry in while supplies last.
Save big money at Menards.
Hi, I'm Gary Canulti, inviting you on a holiday vacations tour. Join me May 2nd through the 12th as we tour Scotland and Northern Ireland. This trip is rich with history, exploring places like the Edinburgh Castle and the Titanic Belfast Museum. We'll also enjoy the gorgeous scenery and friendly people of these two unique countries. Visit holidayvacations.com, keyword WISC, for more information and to watch a travel show. Or call 888-557-1020 for a free brochure. Visit holidayvacations.com, keyword WISC, for more information.
Wisconsin. It's easy to take for granted how we warm up. But what if you couldn't warm up so easily? For many, it's a reality they can't ignore. Working families, elderly, disabled, and veterans struggling to keep their heat and power on in the dangerous cold of winter. If you or someone you know needs a hand up, our energy, water, and emergency rental assistance providers are working together to keep you safe in your home. No one deserves to suffer when we can help each other.
Non-attorney spokesperson. This is a paid advertisement for legal services sponsored by Nightline Legal. Cases assigned on a random basis to participating law firms. If you or a loved one were stationed at Marine Corps Base Camp Lejeune between 1953 and 1987 and were later diagnosed with cancer, Parkinson's disease, or other serious health effects, call right now.
Call 1-800-336-0524.
Sometimes a cough isn't just a cough, so it's better to be prepared. Binax Now gives you reliable results in 15 minutes and detects multiple variants, including Omicron BA.5. Binax Now, the #1 COVID-19 self-test in the U.S.
Tomorrow morning, we'll continue our week-long look back at some of the people we met and the places we discovered in the 608 throughout 2022.
And a major shift in our weather pattern. We're tracking warmer temperatures with some southerly winds from 4:30 to 7.
After 12 years harassing NFL quarterbacks, J.J. Watt is calling it a career once this season's over, and he'll go down as one of the best to ever do it. The former Badger was drafted 11th overall in the 2011 draft by the Texans, where he's the franchise's all-time sack leader. He's a 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, a 5-time Pro Bowler, and a 7-time All-Pro. Watt has 111.5 sacks to his name and 2 games left in a Hall of Fame career. And just a reminder that Wisconsin will face Oklahoma State tonight in the Guaranteed Rate Bowl in Phoenix. Kickoff is set for 9:15, so get your nap in now so you'll be able to stay up and watch the Badgers send off Jim Leonhard, hopefully on a high note. There was a stretch of Green Bay's season where it kind of felt like this watching Aaron Rodgers and the Packers play on Sundays. But now, that's not the case anymore. There's hope. 2 wins and some help from either the Browns this Sunday or the Cowboys next week, and the Packers sneak into the playoffs. And after a big win over the Dolphins, Rodgers can feel the team's confidence rising.
There were a few moments it felt like maybe the rock bottom that we got through, and now we're on the other side. Now, we're not in the perfect position. The perfect position would be like in 2010. This year, we need a little bit of help. We're all going to be Browns fans this week.
Hell yeah.
Oh, Browns. Wow. Definitely pulling for the Browns, and obviously we got to take care of our own business. But, I mean, we got a big jump of confidence this last week.
After yet another 2-week break, the Badger women's hockey team is back on the ice preparing for the second half of their season. And it's a tough 7-series stretch with Ohio State twice, Minnesota, and this week's top 4 showdown with Quinnipiac. The good news, it's only hockey right now for the Badgers. There's no classes to worry about, just eating, sleeping, and breathing hockey. And some would say it doesn't get any better than that.
This is honestly like the best time of the year for us. We like when the campus is empty. It kind of just feels like it's just us, nothing to worry about. We can all just kind of hang out.
It's so nice. I mean, everyone loves being able to come back to campus. It's quiet. You don't have to worry about studying in school and just get to focus on hockey, which is kind of what we enjoy most. So.
Hanging out?
Just hang out.
Playing hockey?
That's it.
It's been hockey weather lately, but we're going to maybe thin out some ice here in the day ahead.
Absolutely, especially on Lake Mendota, as we're going to see temperatures rise into the upper 40s. So it's going to feel rather nice, especially since it's been so bitterly cold over the last few weeks. But we're going to hold on to that warmer trend for the next few days, especially heading into the new year.
All right, Julian, and thanks for joining us for News 3 Now at 6. Have a great evening, and we'll be back here tonight at 10.